Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. I want to talk about chips today and microprocessors and what's happening in the US because the news came out a day or two back, because by the time this video comes out it'll be a day or two, that Micron Technologies in US has been awarded a grant of $6.1 billion from the United States Commerce Department. So before we dive into that, we should understand a little bit of context behind this. This is part of the plan of President Joe Biden, where he passed this Chip and Science Act in 2022, which is going to allocate around $39 billion of grants and another $75 billion in loans and loan guarantees to rejuvenate the US chip manufacturing, which has been non-existent over the years because of things of globalization and more global connectivity happening. And of course, a lot of things moving offshore. This has disappeared in America, and now it seemed to be a strategic and important national security issue for them, and they seem to be working hard to bring back chip manufacturing to the shores. To give a little bit of context, this all goes back to, there's an interesting article on Bloomberg which you can read, which talks about this, where how in the 1980s and 1990s, America did spend through its government supporting companies like Samsung and Intel to improve chip manufacturing, and they tied up with them and they spent a lot of money on R&D. And finally, Dutch company was the one who started manufacturing these high-end chip manufacturing machines, each of them costing over $200 million, each one the size of a public bus. And these machines were then manufactured and sold to companies like TSMC in Taiwan, where these machines were used to make the next generation high-end chips. Of course, the story goes that Intel at the time, though it had invested in the R&D of this, did not believe these kind of high-end chips to have a future, and did not bother buying these machines and making these chips. And that's where Intel dropped the ball. And then we know the story, how Samsung and everybody else, mobile technology took off, and Intel was left holding nothing but the basket while the baby had left. Then, of course, Intel now has come back to the fold with a new CEO, with a new leadership, and promising to bring the next generation iteration of this kind of chips to American shores. And at this point of time, the Americans also felt, due to their ongoing issues with China, that these machines should not be sold to China, and they leaned on the Dutch government not to supply these machines to China. And the Dutch government leaned on this company, and this company has assured that none of these machines, high-end manufacturing machines, are going to land up in China. But the Chinese, with their own technology, with their own R&D in their own country, have started developing chips similar to this, and that had shocked everybody a couple of years ago, within the Americans at least, were shocked when they saw Huawei coming out with these phones which had these new cutting-edge chips in them. And all this led to Americans realizing, the American government that is, that they need to bring chip manufacturing back into American shores under American rule, so they know what is happening and they can stay in the forefront and they're not left behind while China surges ahead. So this kind of gives you the context behind all this, why this has been happening. And this is not the first company to get the grant. Already out of the $39 billion grant, Intel Corporation's got $8.5 billion. TSMC has got $6.6 billion. Samsung Electronics has got $4.4 billion. Secure Enclave Programming has got $3.5 billion. And Global Foundries has got $1.5 billion. And Microchip Technologies has got $160 million. And Bay Systems has got $35 million. The remaining funds right now stands around $12.3 billion. Out of that is what they've taken, and they've given grant of $6.1 billion to Micron Technologies. The hope is all these kinds of initiatives taken by the government, like I said, all these other companies are going to be setting up manufacturing plants of high-end chips, low-end chips, whatever requirement, and to spend a lot of money on R&D, that the next generation of cutting-edge technology, the AI chips especially, are done in US, and America has a control over it as it dissipates across the globe, and Americans stay in the forefront, and they're not left caught napping. This is the main reason behind it. So what is this Micron? Micron is a company headquartered in Boise, Idaho. They propose to construct 5 new plants, and 4 of them in New York and 1 in Idaho. And the expansion hinges on receiving sufficient support from CHIPS grant and investment tax credit and local incentives to make them cost-effective compared to the overseas project. The main advantage any company outside US has And this is the main reason there's been a drain in American manufacturing is manufacturing in the US is expensive. Labor costs, taxation costs, and rules and regulation in the US prohibitively expensive, so it's much cheaper to make them outside. But the government has realized that they cannot afford to do this, and this is stifling growth within the US, and that is why they're opening these new avenues of giving grants, giving tax credit, and making sure they can be competitive across the globe, especially overseas. The other way they'll probably do this is any chips which are planning to come into the US, they'll probably tax them and double tax them, like what is they're trying to do with a lot of Chinese goods right now, trying to prevent them being dumped inside the US. So what is any special additional financial aspects of this? This will be received as a loans, will be part of an award package. That will be, and the exact amount of these loans are currently not very clear. But the stock market has reacted very positively, and it sent Micron share price soaring by around 2 to 3% in late trading, is what Bloomberg has reported. The company has already seen a substantial rise in stock price thanks to the AI boom and the AI push which has been happening. It's already up 36% this year, but this has pushed it even further because of the fresh funding infusion and the future earning prospects of this is what investors are hoping on. So, as an investor, what does this tell you? As an investor, this tells you, like I said in a previous video, there's two things to keep in mind. One, there is a definite AI boom happening, but the problem is it is foggy. We as investors do not know which company is going to be part of this boom and which company is going to be left on the lurch. As I spoke with Arun on a video about Warren Buffett's mistake and why he did not get into Google and he regrets not getting into Google, remember this is a hindsight bias. Warren Buffett can say that now looking back at where Google is today. At the time when Google was an opportunity for him to invest, there were many companies like Google which were sitting there, which we all know about, which have disappeared or completely gone. So it is very difficult, the same position to sit right now in this AI, cusp of this AI boom, to know which companies are the ones which are going to be the next Google in AI, in chip manufacturing. But one thing for sure is cloud computing and chip hardware are the backbone of AI. So as an investor, my advice would be to focus on the hardware and cloud computing as a backbone, because any company to be successful in AI will require this. Both of these will require an immense amount of storage because AI requires this kind of knowledge to be stored. And two, they'll require these fast and high-end chips. Any companies which is participating in these two would be at least decent consideration to be taken into, because all of the prospective companies which are in AI will require hardware and cloud computing. So this is what I would want you to keep in mind as these more information comes about these grants being offered, government participation being said, and more these kind of strategic lines being drawn, and this so-called chip war comes into full fruition. Keep this in mind as an investor. There are pockets of opportunities there, yes. But be careful when you decide to move these bets of yours and your investments, because they are your hard-earned money and you want your wealth to grow, and we are not here to speculate. Thanks for watching the video today, and I'll see you in the next one soon. Bye.
It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.